Now that we've positioned our battery charger, we're going to create a sketch on this surface and project in these holes so that we can begin creating our standoffs. We'll go to create sketch and we're going to choose that surface of our extruded circle here. And it's going to ask if you want to capture the position. We're going to say yes. We'll click capture position since some of our components were moved. And then we're gonna, well, we can go two ways. So if we go to sketch, we can go down to project include and then choose project, or notice the shortcut P. So I'm just gonna hit P on my keyboard, and then I can go in and select each individual circle here. So make sure your selection filter is to the specified entities and not the bodies. So we're gonna click on each of these circles and then click OK. And now if we remove the battery charger, we see that we're left with our circles there. We'll untoggle bodies, and as you can see, I have a slight reference to that extruded base that we created. It'll be sort of lightly shaded, and if we hover over it, we see that outline. We can also project that in by clicking P and clicking, actually let's bring bodies back first. And now if I click on that outline and then click OK and remove bodies, now we'll see that that outline is there. So sometimes it's useful to bring in the sketch entities by projecting the bodies from a previous model. And you don't always want the bodies there, and sometimes you just want to remove them and just have certain sketch entities available to you. Okay, let's take a look at something. I'm going to hit D for dimension. I just want to see what the dimension of this circle is. It's 3.8. If I click to set it, it's going to say, well, you're over constraining this because the dimension of this circle is automatically linked to that component. So if I click OK, it'll put it in, but it'll be in parentheses showing it's over constrained. So I'm going to hit escape and delete that dimension. Now remember that number 3.8 because there's something I want to show you. So I'm going to hit stop sketch and bring back that battery charger. And if we click on that circle there, we'll see the radius is 1.9 or 3.8 diameter. I took a pair of calipers and actually measured my circle on the actual part or the hole, and I got it to be around 2.7. So we're gonna go ahead and modify that. Remember that to do that we have to go to the actual part, so let's bring that in. I'm gonna go to my data panel, I'm gonna navigate back to my enclosure parts, and I'm gonna open up my battery charger by double clicking. Let's go to that first sketch of that timeline. We can close this. And instead of 3.8 as a diameter, I'm going to change it to 2.7. Hit enter. Just click stop sketch. Go back to my enclosure. Oh, actually, let's save it first. Click OK. Go back to my enclosure case. We can update it. Okay, so now that we've updated, now not only will it update our holes in our part like I showed you before, but if I remove the part and let's go back to that sketch, we'll see that it updated the sketch as well. So if we bring that dimension out, that's 2.7. Very useful that you can have your sketches also update from projected geometry that's linked to a part from another design. So just wanted to show you that. We'll click, actually let's delete this dimension. At this point I'll open my completed design so I can show you what I'm going to do before I do it to help you better understand the process here. So I'm just going to go up to my recent data and open up the design that I've finished. Let's bring in that enclosure. And so what we want to do here is build the platform part of the standoff that the battery charger is going to rest on. So in this case, I can see that I made it 2.5 millimeters in radius, so that's 5 millimeters in diameter. So we'll go back to our sketch. I'll hit C for circle, make a circle here, make it 5 millimeters, hit enter. And that circle is constrained right to that center point that I used of the existing projected circle. To model the rest or sketch the rest of the circles, let's use a new tool, which is the rectangular pattern tool. So to do that, we'll need to first get the dimensions across. So let's put those dimensions in so we can just reference them. It's going to be over constraint, but I just want to see what they are, so that's fine. And we'll go get the dimensions going up and down here. So we have 15.24 across, 13.97 vertically. We'll go to sketch, down to rectangular pattern, and we'll get our dialog box. So the objects we're going to select is going to be this circle here, and then I can start moving which direction I want it to pattern. So I'm going to take this arrow and move it across. And as you can see, as I move it, these distance here change, or this distance. And now I can say the quantity I want. Well, I want 2 of them. So I'm going to change from 3 to 2. And for distance type, well, I have 2 options. I have extent or spacing. Extent is the measurements between your first and last item. Spacing is your spacing between each item. Well, I know what that extent is. I know it's 15.24. In this case, since there's only 2, it doesn't matter which one I choose. But we'll go with extent, and I'm going to put that spacing as, we see it's giving me a negative going in this direction, so we'll keep it negative. And we'll write 15.24, and that'll line up perfectly. Now I can take the arrow here, white arrow going up and down, and bring that down as well. And I can change that distance here to 13.97. Change the quantity to 2. And we're going to keep the direction type as one direction, and we'll click OK. And that gave us our rectangular pattern of 4 circles. Now we can click on Stop Sketch, and we can extrude these up. So let's hit E for extrude. And notice here, if I select these, I have to select them individually. So for each selection, I would have to continually make sure I select that inner circle. Or I can hit Cancel, go back to that sketch, and turn these projected geometries into construction lines by clicking X. So I'm going to turn each of these purple lines into projected lines by hitting X. Stop sketch. Now when I hit E for extrude, I don't have to make that double selection. I just click once. And let's go ahead and extrude that. We're not seeing anything, so we'll bring bodies in. We'll go 2 millimeters, hit enter.